watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. And we've spent a lot of time on this show talking about round one of the draft. Now, there's a very intriguing situation for Seattle. They have not one, but two picks in the second round. And when you win a Super Bowl, it's not all about what you do day one. It comes down in large part to what you do in days 2 and 3. I got a list of 10 players that could be available when Seattle picks at 50 and 52. We'll go over those said players coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, who is a player that you want the Seahawks to draft in the second round? No wrong answers. Just let me know who comes to mind that you would like to see picked in the second round. Spam them in the comments section. I want to see as many comments as you can of your second-round draft targets for the Hawks, and we'll get going here on today's program. So the Seahawks enter the draft with a lot of needs to address, from the interior to the offensive line, the offensive tackle position, edge, wide receiver, defensive line, corner, safety, linebacker, and tight end, just to name a few. They do have about $36 million in cap space, so you use on average about $10 million for your draft picks. That'll leave you about another 16 to potentially spend after the draft as Mike Macdonald enters his second season in Seattle. So, who are these said draft targets? Let's go ahead and get started with Tate Ratledge, the offensive guard from Georgia. And I got to tell you, I would not want to mess with this guy on the farm. I mean, this is a hog molly if I've ever seen one, folks. Tate Ratledge was fantastic with the Georgia Bulldogs. His PFF grade is very solid in 500 snaps this past season, an overall grade of 74.4, a pass block grade of 77.3, a run block grade of 74.7, only allowed 1 sack and 2 penalties. He's probably the second best guard in this draft, only behind Tyler Booker out of Alabama. And he held his own with only giving up 2 hits in 4 hurries, got called for just 2 penalties. He is somebody that would be ready to step in right away and start at one of the guard spots for Seattle. And I think he's got a chance to be very good for a long time. I would not be upset at all if Seattle uses one of those 2 second-round picks on Ratledge. Let's ask you guys, our pinned comment today, should the Seahawks draft Tate Ratledge? Type D for draft, P for pass. Weigh in that comment section and let us know if you would draft Ratledge or not. Let's go to another position, and this is where we find Shavon Revel Jr. from East Carolina. Revel had a fantastic 2023, and he was well on his way to having a breakout season in 2024 prior to a season-ending injury. And all the talk about Revel before the injury was that he was going to be a top 15 or top 20 pick. But even before he got hurt, he was off to a great start in 2024 with 2 interceptions in 3 games, including a pick 6, 4 pass breakups, and 8 tackles. He was really, really good. In 2023 was a fantastic season. He only allowed 19 completions with 250 yards and 1 touchdown, 14 pass breakups. And how about the QBR rating allowed? 61.2. Revel was that guy. And if he can get fully healthy, I think that he looks like a starting caliber corner at the next level. I think that would be a good pick for Seattle with either one of their selections. How about this guy, Josh Conerly Jr.? I have seen his stock all over the place. Some people think he's a late first-round pick. Others think that he could be in the middle to late second round and could be in position for Seattle to select there with one of their 2 second-round picks, the offensive tackle from Oregon. Conerly had very good numbers. An overall grade of 78.1 last year, a pass block grade of 83.5, a run block grade of 72.5. Played a lot of snaps, 965, with just 1 sack allowed. Got called for 4 penalties. And he did a pretty decent job of protecting the quarterback. Just 2 hits in 6 hurries allowed this past season. Conerly, there would be some nice value if you can potentially get him there in round number 2. Next, let's go edge rusher. This is where we find Nic Scourton, the edge rusher from Texas A&M. I keep wanting to call him Nic Scourton. But no, he is not a scrotum. But this is somebody that was really good at Purdue, had 10 sacks in 2023 with 42 pressures and 1 forced fumble and 50 tackles. Last year, he goes to Texas A&M, new defensive scheme. Things were a bit different for him, but he still held his own, even with his numbers going down, with 37 tackles, 14 TFLs, 5 sacks, 36 pressures, and 1 forced fumble. If he is still the same player that he was at Purdue, then he's got some real potential to excel at the next level. But I think some teams are alarmed that his numbers went down a bit there at Texas A&M this past season, and even playing in more games on that front. Meanwhile, let's talk about Big Jonah, the big fish from Arizona at the offensive line spot. A lot of questions. What position is he going to play at the next level? Is he an offensive tackle? Is he an offensive guard? I don't know, to be honest with you. But as we've stated before in this program, you're looking to put the best 5 out there. And I can find a spot for Jonah, whether it's guard or tackle, or if I have to move Abraham Lucas to guard, whatever it may be, we can make this work. His overall grade, solid, 75.9. Pass blocking is his strength with an 82.7 grade and a run block grade of 64.2. Allowed 4 sacks, got called for 1 penalty, and only gave up 2 hits on the quarterback last year with 9 hurries. Could be some good value because there was some discussions early on about him potentially being a first-round pick. If he's still available when Seattle picks in the second round, that could be some good value with him there. What about between these two offensive linemen? You like Jonah or you like Conerly better? Type JC, not for the man upstairs, but for Josh Conerly. Or you can type JS for Jonah. Maybe he's your favorite Bible character in this case. Let us know. And type JC for Josh Conerly. Type JS for Big Jonah in the comments section below. Up next, we find Darius Alexander, the defensive tackle from Holy Toledo. Darius Alexander, to me, is very intriguing because he was one of the best defensive linemen in all of college football, and all eyes were on him in the MAC conference because he stood out among the rest of all the pressure he had to take on with the double teams and all that, and yet he was still productive. 3.5 sacks this past season, 4 pass breakups, 37 pressures. And I know you drafted Byron Murphy last year. I get that, but you're lacking some depth, and we don't know how much longer we are going to have Jaron Reed at this point, as he's in his 30s now and everything. Got to start preparing for the future. Darius Alexander could be a good fit on that front there. Meanwhile, let's go to the receiver position now. This guy, his stock has plummeted. Luther Burden III from Mizzou was thought of to be a sure thing first-round pick just about 3 months ago, and now there's more and more discussion about him slipping to the second round after having a bit of a disappointing year with the Missouri Tigers, as this past season, even though he was clearly the best receiver on his team, granted they had some quarterback problems there with the Missouri Tigers, his numbers were down quite a bit after an outstanding 2023 campaign. He had 61 catches, 676 yards. His average was down from 14.1 to 11.1, 6 touchdowns. Luther Burden might be worth taking a chance if he is still around there for Seattle's 2 picks. The safety position, a position of need, and that's where we find Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, Xavier Watts, that is. And this guy's a turnover machine, all right? With Seattle looking to play 3 safeties, that number 3 safety you would like to be able to jump in and create those extra possessions, to be a rover of sorts. And that's where Xavier Watts could be a good fit. Listen to this, folks. That number on your screen is not a lie. 13 interceptions in 2 seasons, along with 2 forced fumbles combined in those 2 seasons. Wow, wow, wow. And his coverage stats, even more impressive. Only allowed a QB rating of 30.1. Only allowed 179 yards. This guy played 16 games, almost a full NFL schedule last year as Notre Dame was in the national championship. How is this guy not being talked about when it comes to being a first-round pick? I love Xavier Watts. I think this could be a good fit for Seattle potentially. Who's a player the Seahawks should draft? Gone over a few names already. We got a few more to go, but want to hear from you guys. Get in the comment section. Give me a name that you would like to see selected in the 2025 NFL Draft. Got a great deal for Seahawks fans. Cooper Kupp jerseys are on sale now with free shipping as well. Chatsports.com/Cup is where you can get yours today. Look, we're all excited about having Cooper Kupp in Seattle. What better way this summer to be supporting your Seattle Seahawks than by wearing the jersey of one of the hometown kids in Cooper Kupp? And you can get your jerseys now at chatsports.com/Cup. We also have other Seahawks merchandise, including Sam Darnold jerseys, available at that same link. Go see for yourself, chatsports.com/Cup. Free shipping available. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Check it out today. You'll be glad you did. All right. Up next, Elijah Arroyo, the tight end from Miami. This is a very good year for tight ends with Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. And it seems unlikely that Seattle is going to get one of those two for the first-round pick there at 18. So what other options could they go with? Well, I think Elijah Arroyo has the chance to be a stud in this league. Had a breakout season this past year, 7 touchdowns. Look, the Seahawks have had a problem when it comes to red zone tight ends as of late. Noah Fant has, I think, 1 red zone touchdown in, the last 2 or 3 years? You want to fix that problem? Might I present you Elijah? Come forth. 35 total catches, 590 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he's got good yards after catch ability as well. Nearly 17 yards of reception last year with the Miami Hurricanes. Last on our list, I'll give you another receiver here. How about Jaden Higgins from Iowa State? Was part of a dynamic duo with him and Jalen Noel, who each had over 1,000 yards with Rocco Beck throwing them the football. They got to the Big 12 championship game this past season. And even with sharing time with Noel, he still had nearly 1,200 yards with 87 catches, 9 touchdowns, and he takes care of the football too. Only 2 drops this past year with a 13.6 average. Jaden Higgins was really, really good. So there's your list of some dream draft targets for round number 2 for Seattle's 2 picks. If you made it to the end of today's video, that means you are a real one, a real member of the 12s. Spam 12 in the comments section, and we will see you next time right here on Seahawks Today. Thanks for watching.